Hello, so today we're going to be talking about the literary devices and the literary moves that Martin Luther King uses in his letter to, from a Birmingham jail. So, a really great example of this is shown in paragraphs 13 and 14, where King essentially communicates that the reason for not delaying like this movement, and the reason that we need to, that the king and others, like other African Americans, need to act fast to end this racial prejudice. King communicates that remaining stagnant and not taking action against racial prejudice only continues and exacerbates the oppression. So he conveys that if people simply wait, then the issues do not just solve themselves. They It is prudent that people act urgently to end racial prejudice in the United States before it can actually aggregate further. So in order to actually like convey this idea, King employs pathos to spark great emotion in the audience. So he explains how many like black men and women are constantly being lynched and killed for no reason. They're constantly being like assaulted and being persecuted for no like actual reason other than like simply that the color of their skin, because of the color of their skin. And um this is like and through this he tries to Martin Luther King also tries to spark this emotion that people are being killed by simply waiting, and this racial prejudice further just tries to exacerbate and constantly is harming the African Americans. So also, King also explains how children are also being like greatly affected by this segregation in the United States. So he explains that King are not able to participate. Sorry, children are not able to participate in like very fun activities. For example, they're not able to go to amusement parks simply because of the color of their skin, and simply because of their simply because of like their race, they're not able to participate in such like entertaining activities and things like that. So as you can see, that can be like really impactful for children, just not being able to have fun simply because they're different, only because of their race and nothing else. So so this is mainly used to spark emotion, especially because children often spark emotion in many people. So yeah, and a child suffering obviously would greatly emotionally impact many. So yeah, King basically uses this example to say this. um King also explains how various countries, including like Africa, Asia, are constantly gaining countries in Africa and Asia are constantly quickly gaining political evidence through action. Yet African Americans still fail to like obtain like various basic rights. And by constantly delaying taking action and by constantly waiting, this segregation continues to exacerbate and get worse over time in the United States. So basically, through these examples, King essentially just tries to explain how remaining stagnant and just not doing anything um, only makes the situation worse, and that by actually taking action, that's the only way that prejudice and segregation can actually end. So King also uses very powerful rhetoric in his in this paragraph. He basically describes how various like African Americans are smothered essentially in an airtight cage of poverty. This quote of using smothered in an airtight cage of poverty is a very heavy quote, and it has a very powerful connotation to it. So obviously, the word smothered is often considered like a very negatively connotated word. So it shows how African Americans are often trapped in the sense of are often trapped, and they're suffering basically this from the poverty, okay, and this low socioeconomic status that has been that they are in and they're experiencing because of like racial prejudice and society basically society basically like showing discrimination towards them and basically maintaining that like low socioeconomic status level in many areas. So he also explains that they're basically like trapped in this constant poverty to further explain like how serious the situation is for African Americans, and they're constantly being trapped and being suffocated in this sense of poverty and the sense of discrimination that they face every day. So King also tries to explain tries to like further explain this like the severity of this prejudice through African American children. So he also says how when the like African American children are not able to attend like amusement parks simply because of the color of their skin, um, like ominous clouds of inferiority begin to like basically appear and like begin to form in their little minds. So through this quote, um, like King basically discusses the severity of the situation by saying that like since ominous clouds is such a very powerful connotation, and it shows how the children are constantly being like feel that um they're falsely lower than other like white children and others, simply because they're because only because of the color of their skin they're not able to um have such privileges, they're not able to attend such things, such like fun events and things like that. So it shows like it makes them feel more different and makes them feel more like inferior in a sense to them. So through these quotes, King is actually just is trying to spark great emotion in the audience, basically explaining how like this racial prejudice is impacting all areas of society and all ages, including children, and be it children and adults. So it shows this like how segregation has such a great impact um like on all ages and on all people, on all African Americans, so that to convey the idea that simply delaying this just maintains this oppression, um, this constant prejudice, this constant segregation on the African Americans, and that by actually taking action, um, African Americans can actually solve this problem, and then this issue can be eradicated from society. So furthermore, there is I believe that there is a great connection between these two paragraphs that are 13 and 14 and Fahrenheit 451. So in Fahrenheit 451, um, like which is a society of obviously like where books are burned to so, like basically suppress the knowledge of the population, um, by remaining so that the main character Montag has to essentially like see all of these books getting burned um like by the government and other government authorities to suppress the knowledge. So by remaining silent, Montag only makes the situation worse. So the constant burning of these books suppresses knowledge and obviously intellectual learning as well. And by delaying taking action, it reinforces this unrighteousness and this injustice committed to society by limiting their knowledge and their ability to obtain this knowledge. So, like overall, in the middle of the book, obviously Montag does kill Beatty, his boss, and the other firemen, and prevent them from destroying the books. Kill Beatty and prevent the other firemen from destroying the books. And but if he did not do this, then the books would have been burnt, and then the suppression of knowledge would have been continued and reinforced in society. So, this is very similar to King's idea that if people do not take action, then this injustice, this discrimination, this unrighteousness will continue to pervade through society, and um basically like what these two books, both Montag and so like both Bradbury, which is the author of Fahrenheit 451, and Martin Luther King try to convey here is that whenever there is injustice, be it like racial prejudice in King's example, and the suppression of knowledge in Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, simply delaying taking action to solve these problems does whenever this injustice is prevalent through society only just makes this only aggravates the situation and makes this injustice and unrighteousness worse. Therefore, In order to fix problems, action must be taken urgently and very quickly to maintain the peace and prosperity and uphold values such as justice and righteousness. Thank you so much.